This is the WWE NXT February 18, 2025 full show results video. Oba Femi makes his entrance and gets on the mic, and he says the four fools that jumped him at Vengeance Day made one mistake: they didn't finish the job. They hit him with their best shot and he's still here, so he asks the fools to come to the ring now and finish what they started. Instead, we get TNA X Division champion Moose appears, and he gets in the ring and squares up with Oba before saying he's the one man that Femi can't rule over. Oba says Moose is in the man in his bubble, but here he's inevitable, and Moose says he wants a match between the two of them. Femi says it will happen, and they hold their titles up at each other. Now we get the usual montage of talent arriving at the arena, including Jordynne Grace and Absolute Ricky Starks. Back from the commercial, Eddie Thorpe is yapping at Ava Raine demanding a title match, but she's not having it. Cale Dixon and Uriah Connors roll up to offer Ava an invitation to a party they're having after the show and then invite Eddie to DJ, but he turns them down. He says Andre Chase will ruin their lives and let them down just like he did Chase U, but they say they believe in Mr. Chase and say he could beat Thorpe no problem, and they officially challenge Eddie on his behalf, and Ava is into it. Then we saw a triple threat match between Jada Parker versus Carmen Petrovich versus Kalani Jordan. We see Jordan sends Parker to the floor with a dropkick, passes Petrovich out after her, Ase Moonsault wipes both of them out. Back inside, Jada chokes Kalani in the ropes, slingshots her off, whip to the corner, straight suplex connects. Parker with a quick cover for two. Jordan with a slick slingshot leg drop on Petrovich, a cover on Parker, Jada kicks out and hangs her in the Tree of Woe. Fallaway slam on Carmen, cover, but Kalani Jordan breaks it up with a frog splash. Carmen charging elbows corner to corner, getting both women up top, handspring Frankensteiner on Jada. Charging over to Jordan, she gets 1-2, cover, but kicks out. Parker stacks Petrovich in the corner and hits the seated senton. Ashante the Adonis pulls Carmen out of the ring, Jada with a superplex on Kalani. In the end, passing her into the corner, she gets a seated senton, Adonis slides Petrovich in to take advantage while Parker taunts, and Carmen Petrovich won the match by pinfall with a lateral press on Kalani Jordan, becoming the #1 contender to the NXT Women's North American Championship. Post-match, Jordan and Parker brawl on the floor and we see Jordynne Grace walking backstage, but we cut back to the ring where Fatal Influence are beating Petrovich down, then Henley connects with a T-bone suplex. Back from the commercial, Fatal Influence are still on the warpath, now beating down Julia and Stephanie Vacker in the mix, when Jordynne Grace makes the save. She says she came to NXT to be part of the best women's division in wrestling, and now that she's here she doesn't want to waste a single second, and they got a trios match right here, so let's fight. The next match happened between Meta Girls versus Sol Ruca and Zarya. All four women trading strikes in the middle of the ring. Zarya and Lash get their opposite numbers in fireman's carries and trade military press drops. Jawing at each other, Zarya blasts her with a headbutt. Sol tries for a diving Frankensteiner, Legend catches her and they crash messily to the floor. Zarya gets a hot tag in Rex House, tag to Ruca. She lights Meta Girls up with super kicks. One assists a German from Zarya, but Lash knocks her into the pin with a boot to break it up. Legend Legal, La Cazadora, Zarya fights out and they trade rights before both go down to simultaneous pump kicks. In the end, Zarya blasts Jakara with the F5 and Sol tags in, hits Soul Snatcher on Jackson, and Sol Ruca and Zarya won the match by pinfall. Wes Lee is interviewed backstage with Tyson DuPont and Tyree Ekigwe in tow, and he says NXT is completely unpredictable and that falls perfectly into their hands. Absolute Ricky Starks walks by and the interviewer rushes over to chat, and he says he knows she has a lot of questions and he's going to answer those in a few minutes. Then Ava Raine makes her entrance to preside over Absolute Ricky Starks' contract signing. Starks makes his entrance and joins her, and he says he hasn't been here too long but NXT is amazing, but before he gets started he wants to talk to us for a second because there's things he wants to get off his chest. People talk about getting to NXT like it's a dream, but it's reality. Standing here is reality, main eventing every NXT PLE is reality. Winning the NXT championship is reality, and the absolute truth of it is that he's the man in NXT. He's gonna show up and show out because right now the revolution begins. He opens the contract to sign it and then comes all ego Ethan Page, resplendent in Evolve purple and black. He says he's impressed, he shocked the world by appearing in NXT, and now he's standing in the middle of the ring about to sign his NXT contract, and he'll guess somewhere in that contract it says that his first match here will be for a title, right? Page calls him a genius for following the Ethan Page playbook to a T. As his friend he wanted to come out here and tell him face to face that there's only one Ethan Page and he's right here. Starks says he's got in his feelings, and why? Does he know that there's only room in the spotlight for one of them? He's wearing his insecurity as tight as that jacket. Ricky says he's gonna take this place to another level, and Paige says he won't be able to touch the bar he set for people coming into NXT. Starks says now is a time for celebration. He's about to sign his contract, and All Ego got a big win over Jordynne Evans. Jordynne showed he's got that dog in him, and the thing about people like that is they always come back around to whoop that ass. All Ego says Evans couldn't walk himself out of the arena on Saturday, and if he was a betting man, and then Jordynne Evans appears out of nowhere to whoop All Ego's ass, and they brawl out into the crowd. Rain and Starks shrug it off and get back to the contract, but then comes Wes Lee. Lee says he knows who Starks is and he's new here, so he'll give him a pass for earlier, but he's got to know there are rules around here, and number one is you don't disrespect Wes Lee. Lee says he wants to be Ricky's first match, and Ava says they can make that happen. Ricky asks if everyone around here is always angry and calls Wes and Ethan two peas in a pod, always talking above their limit. Starks challenges him to a match next week, and Wes tells him to sign, knowing that it's a one and done. Ricky says next week he'll welcome him to the Revolution and grabs the pen, but turns away to cold cock Wes when he tries to get a cheap shot in. Starks signs the contract, and the camera zooms in to show the name on the contract is Ricky Saints. No Quarter Catch crew interrupt a Fraxium interview to go after the tag titles. Miles Bourne says they want to challenge the best tag team in the world, possibly in history, and Tavian Heights makes it clear that they're calling out TNA World Tag Team Champions the Hardy Boys for next week. The next match happened between Channing Stacks Lorenzo versus Shawn Spears, and the result of this match was Shawn Spears defeated Channing Stacks Lorenzo by pinfall when Stacks lands a dropkick, drawing Spears up, suplex reversed into a brainbuster on the knee, then Shawn rushes over, hits Fireman's Carry followed by a Death Valley driver. Moose runs into Lexus King backstage, and King greets him and says he beat the crap out of his buddy JDC last week, but the way he confronted Oba Femi, he's got to admit the system has balls. Moose says he's tired of the nonsense, but if he wants a shot at the X Division Championship, he's got it next week and he'll destroy him like everyone else. Lexus asks if he's really gonna put the title on the line in his hometown where he's beloved, and Moose says he is. The next match happened between Andre Chase versus Eddie Thorpe, and the result of this match was Eddie Thorpe defeated Andre Chase by pinfall with the Impaler. Post-match, Trick Williams cuts a promo from the Tron saying he's not done with Eddie Thorpe yet, and if he's going down, he's taking Eddie with him. Back from commercial, Ricky Saints is walking backstage with Ava Rain talking about his experience so far. All Ego Ethan Page rolls up and wants to complain about Jordynne Evans, then Wes Lee rolls up to talk trash ahead of their match, and Ava shuts them down when Jordynne rolls up with a gaggle of security holding him back. Rain books it into a tag match, Ricky and Jordynne against Ethan and Wes. The Hardy Boys send in a promo accepting the challenge from No Quarter Catch crew and invite Fraxium to pull up a front row seat to see why they're the greatest tag team in all of space and time. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Fatal Influence versus Julia, Jordynne Grace, and Stephanie Vacker, and the result of this match was Julia, Jordynne Grace, and Stephanie Vacker defeated Fatal Influence by pinfall with the driver from Grace on Jasmine Nix. The babyfaces stand tall, and we cut to the parking lot, and then the camera follows Ava Rain into a room where Robert Stone is laid out unconscious with the words "No one is safe" written above him on the wall, and the show goes off the air. How much you would rate this week's NXT show? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.